Okay folks, this is a sentimental favourite of my past as well as my recent times. Now it looks like it's coming to an end. I don't know what's exactly going on with this company and why it's gone under or going under, or why we can't get supplies, but yeah, we've had to change it, and it's got something to do with a photocopier. It just brings back memories of my teenage years at high school, from when I was 13 up until recently, and now it's gone under, or it appears to be going under. So I don't know what's going to happen to this brand of, well, we'll see. We'll show you what I'm talking about, folks, in a moment. We'll just quickly set this photocopier up. I have done videos of this before, but they weren't really good ones. They weren't really exciting ones. They were when I was a bit less experienced working with this equipment and what I could push, how hard I could push it. So let's see what this is, what this piece is. This is Reflex, a brand of photocopy paper that's been around since the beginning of, I don't know when, folks. Australian made, Australian owned, I think. Australian premium paper, Australian made. I don't know if they're owned, to be honest, folks, but really, it's a shame to see this go under. I don't know what's happened to them. I don't know why, and what the problem is, but it just seems like they're no longer around anymore. I can't get a very good supply of them, so I've had to switch to a different brand. And Reflex have always trusted it. It's a trusted brand indeed. So I figured I'd pay homage to it, even though it's not being printed on Reflex paper. How ironic. And that's come up looking quite interesting, actually. I don't like the colour of it. It looks a bit wishy-washy, the magenta, but I think we could probably do something with it because it looks really nice how it's come out otherwise. I do wonder if we could do something better, choose a different colour. We're going to go dot matrix with this one. Maybe we'll do another, we'll fling it around again. But yeah, it's just a shame that this brand of paper is now no longer available readily. Because it's been around for decades, like I've known this brand of paper since 1986. So 1986 to 2023, that's a long time. And that's come up looking quite interesting. I do like this little section here, that I think we're going to focus on that. But basically, yeah, we've known this. I've grown up with this brand of paper when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, when I was just at the very beginnings of learning about photocopiers. So there's been a lot of sentimentality involved, and now the sentimentality has to go and fall by the wayside because now we have to fucking live with different brands of paper now. I'm sure they'll work just fine. I got to believe that it's okay, that we have to move on and we have to say goodbye to good old Reflex. But what can we do, folks? We can't always have what we want. We can't always have, even though we might get a lot of things in life, I do believe I can make it on television. As an artist, I do have faith in myself, enough of it to get myself out there on the 6 o'clock news, but I can't promise everything, and that includes what paper I put in my photocopier. So if the brand Reflex collapses, well, I have no control over that, folks, even though I might be able to have a certain amount of control over other things, and I do believe I can make it in TV. I do believe I can get my stuff as an artist recognised, but I can't control everything, and that includes what happens to companies like Reflex, or the company that makes Reflex, whoever they are. Yeah, I can't control everything, however much it'd be nice if I could. Yeah, that's come up looking quite interesting. I do think maybe a bit too much on the vertical we have here. Maybe less on the vertical. I like that inkwise bit. I'm not sure if I like this arrangement. I don't know which way we're moving it. I think we're moving it this way. But yeah, we can't control everything, including what we put through our photocopier, folks, ultimately. However much we'd like to keep Reflex alive, I'm pretty sure the company has probably tried everything in their power to do so, and they just can't. So we have to say goodbye to them. They might come back. We just don't know, folks. I don't know. I'm not an expert at this shit, this business shit. And that's looking a bit better. I do think we might move it back. At least we know which way to move it. I actually don't like this result. I actually might... this looks a bit more promising, or maybe not. I'm going to go back to where we were with this. This is really difficult. Even here I'm having trouble controlling the outcome of this demo to see if I can make this demo really, really work. If it doesn't, I'll be very upset. But basically, yeah, I'm trying to make this demo to something that's workable. So even here I have trouble with control, folks. Even the control of what comes out of the photocopier, whatever, doesn't matter what paper or whatever, it's still difficult trying to keep control of if something's going to look any good, or if it's going to look like a piece of junk or a piece of shit, to be quite precise, folks. I don't know how it's going to look, but you know, you've got to try, folks. With the things we have a chance of control, at least a chance at controlling, we've got to try. And I'm going to try very hard with this TV campaign. I'm not going to give up. And when I'm on a good thing, I like to stick to it. And I believe that what I'm doing to try and get on my 6 o'clock news, I know it'll help. It'll work. I'm very confident with this overall campaign that I can make it to the Channel 9 news. I have to get them interested in my work, but I'm pretty confident that it can happen and that it will happen. Sometimes you got to think positively, folks, and that's come up looking better. I do think we can work with that, but I do believe I can do it, folks. I've got to believe in the can do, not what I can't do. I've got to focus on what I can do and not what I can't do. I'm going to try another version again and see if I can make it even better. But really, I just have to believe in myself, and I'm trying my hardest to make that happen. Now, I know I can do it, folks. I know. I just have to get Channel 9 interested in what I do. If they can get interested, the sky's the limit. Now, I know I can do it, folks. I've got to believe that Channel 9 will play my material. That looks shithouse. This version here looks better. I don't know if I like it. I'm going to do another version of that. So we just did, that was our last version. Looks quite crappy. This version looks suspiciously better, but I'm not quite happy overall. And that's the thing, you got to learn Sometimes in life you've got to learn not to settle with the easy road. And sometimes you have to just make an effort, but sometimes you've got to know when to stop. But I know I have to keep going with this TV campaign. I know in my heart I can do it, folks. I know I'm meaning it for the better of mankind if I can get my stuff out there. And it's come up looking interesting, but it's not what I want. That looks interesting there. Maybe not. I'm going to try another one, and maybe I'll resort to this one if I haven't got any other choices, folks. And that's the thing, you've got to know which one to settle with. But I know that for my part, I can't settle with, like, my work just staying on social media or word of mouth or whatever else that's people powered, because people power cannot be relied upon. It requires a huge groundswell, and that groundswell does not happen very often these days, even on social media, and especially not on word of mouth or localism. I do think we could use that one. We're going to try another one. So this was the last one we just did. I like the look of that there. Looks a bit bumpy though. The paper's a bit bubbled. Toner, should I say, is a bit bubbled. It's a bubbling there a bit. It's like doing that. It did it on reflex as well. So it's not to do with the paper itself, except maybe that it might be damp. Folks, I'm not a technician, folks. That's one thing I had to learn in life, is what I'm not. And I am not a person who can work as a technician, even without disability, I don't consider myself a technician. I am disabled. I had a cord around my neck and I came out breech. So I had brain damage at birth, which prevented me from learning at school very easily. It was really difficult and it was really painful being forced to do, because I wasn't diagnosed. I don't know which one I like better, this one or this one. This one, I like the inkwise to be in the middle. I'll work with this one. I don't know, folks. Sometimes I don't know when to settle and when not to settle. It's really tricky, folks. But I really miss my partner Luigi, who I'm really trying to get in touch with through the 6 o'clock news on Channel 9. I need to get in touch with him because he's my future. He means the world to me, and I can't afford myself to live a life without him much longer. It gets very lonely and painful, and I did some stupid things when I was very young, which led to me being lonely away from him, to not knowing where he is. And I really get lonely now without him, and I'm trying my best. And I feel that this is the only way I can get in touch with my loved one, is to get on the 6 o'clock news, because I need the coverage. You know, social media is like hit and miss. You don't know who's there, and it's really like it's beneath the surface. It's underground. It doesn't have the same penetration that that TV has in the living rooms of so many people. You know, more people watch TV than social media still. I don't know the statistics, but I'm pretty sure that's true. And we still need TV. TV is still an important part of people's lives, and people have put it as important. And social media doesn't, on its own, cannot cut it like TV can. I do wonder if I'm going to maybe a little less on the horizontal, and maybe I'll push it up a bit on the vertical. I'm going to have to push it up a bit. if I'm correct, if I remember correctly. My memory's not good, folks, so it has a bit of trouble here. It causes a bit of problem here, even though for the most part I fly when I'm on a photocopier. But I still do get things wrong at times. Anyway, that's come up looking a bit better. I do think we might have pushed it up a bit high up there, should I say, because I didn't want to lose that. I forgot all about that part. So do have to consider that piece of my work. So we're just going to put it back down. I didn't want to have to cut that out. I'm really missing my partner, and it really hurts to be away from him, even though I don't feel like I have much choice. Yeah, we've pushed it too far down. We're going to have to compromise with this bit at the top, I do think. Sorry, folks. I do want that to be showing. That's like part of the design, the actual design of my work. So I'm just going to look where I am, and this is it there. So I'm enlarging it off. If I push it up, that's it. I can push it up. Oh shit, I didn't think, folks. That was difficult, folks. I have to just enlarge less now that I've got what I'm looking for. Fuck. See, that's the problem. That's part of my memory problem playing out here. It still can be a little bit difficult, folks, but it's not undoable. This is the memory. I can't remember things very well. My short-term memory and my hippocampus, I do believe both of them have been damaged quite extensively. I read an article on Google which said that the hippocampus and the short-term memory are very vulnerable to oxygen starvation. I'm going to move it less than it. It's very vulnerable to oxygen starvation, and it shows in my life and shows in my lack of ability to learn at school. It really was a struggle trying to learn at school how to do things and how to comprehend things. I don't know if comprehension comes under hippocampus or short-term memory. I don't know enough about this shit. I'm not an expert, folks. I do believe I have high-functioning autism as well, and that's, again, not been diagnosed. So there's a lot of question marks hanging over why I am disabled. I do believe I do have another condition I have that has been diagnosed, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's too shameful in my books. It's too much of a stigmatized condition that I have. But that's what gives me my Centrelink benefit, my disability support pension, and that's what gives me my disability employment in a job known as an ADE, an Australian Disability Enterprise, which is like a form of another word for a sheltered workshop in more modern terms, but they don't like to use the terminology known as a sheltered workshop. That's a bit archaic for them. It's a bit more progressive to in their books to give it a different name, and I'm trying to get on the 6 o'clock news and get recognised not for these disabilities, both diagnosed and undiagnosed. I want to focus on what I can do. What I can do, Channel 9, what I can do. I want to show you what I can do and what the world can see, that I can do it, that I can make it. I can be an artist. And one day they'll have technology, and one day I can say I can redesign the copier, the photocopier, folks. That's the dream I have in the end game of things, is to one day, when they have the technology, and hopefully I'll be diagnosed with these conditions and maybe whatever else might exist that I don't know about or can't understand. But I do believe the high functioning autism is now more of a powerhouse than a failure. It was a failure at school because it caused people to tease and bully me mercilessly. But now I don't consider it like that anymore. I consider it an asset. So not all the disability is a problem. It's just the short-term memory and the hippocampus damage has caused problems in my learning. And I want to learn, and I want to learn, and I want to learn, folks. I want to learn, folks. One day I've got to be positive. They'll have the technology, they'll have the medicine to fix the problem. A bit like the story of the $6 million man. Well, maybe not quite that drastic, but yeah, similar sort of thing. But enough of that. We've got to focus on what we can do now, and that is to be an artist and to be a success and to get in touch with my partner Luigi through the 6 o'clock news, Channel 9. So yeah, I will do it, folks. I'm succeeding. I'm proud to be a photocopier artist, and that's come up looking a lot better. I think we can now call this demo quits.